welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you a new technique that I'm trying to learn to see if it'll work for my Sakizo wig, her flower crown, and it is silk flower making or velvet flower making. It's actually an ancient Chinese art called, it's been a long time since I have studied Mandarin, Ronggua. My pronunciation is probably completely off. It's velvet flower making or silk flower making. I just put some petals I was practicing on. So the very first petals I made, I just sort of like rolled them together into a flower just to see how they look and test the size. They're very rough. Of course, I am learning. And this is definitely not the flower we're going for. We're going for a daffodil. So I want to walk through some tips that I have learned as a beginner for making silk flowers. Obviously, I'm not an expert, so I don't want to guide you through the process of how to make a silk flower because I am absolutely a beginner, and I feel like this is one of those crafts you could dedicate your life to master. But there are some things that I learned through watching a bunch of different videos from the company that I bought the kits from. The company's called Lansei China. They have a ton of tutorial videos step by step on how to make these flowers. So I'm going to just send you their way if you want to actually see the tutorials. The link will be down in the description box below just for their general channel. They post a lot of tips, but they're scattered across different tutorials. I was still struggling with some of the steps, so I went and watched several of their other videos and found there were more tips not shared in the daffodil video that actually was incredibly useful for a beginner like me. So I'm going to share some video of the process of how I made my first couple silk flowers and then compile the tips that I have learned along my way. So I am really hoping that I can pull off some nice, beautiful, clean flowers. The last set that I made, which were the center core of the daffodil, I think turned out really well. I unfortunately ran out of white silk, so I don't have petals to add, like nice clean petals to add at the end of this video to show you a full complete flower, but I do put some of the beginner petals around it so you can kind of get an idea of what the daffodil looks like. I have more silk on the way. These, I will say, these items are very difficult to find on Amazon if you're looking for something quick. I was able to find one starting board, which I can link below as well, and I was able to find what I think is the right silk, but I haven't tried it yet, so I can also link that below. But I did just order more from Lansei China because I really liked the quality of everything that I got. So where we're at right now at the flower crown for Sakizo is trying to decide between silk flowers and resin flowers. And if you saw my video before about the resin flowers, I would not paint them this way again and I would make them a bit cleaner. So this was my first test flower. And then we have the silk ones. I really want the silk ones to work. So hopefully I can get this technique down to a point where I feel like it's good enough to put on my Sakizo wig. Let's get started with brushing our silk. So starting off, we need to set up our silk fibers so that we can brush the silk. So these silk kits come in what looks like embroidery floss, just silk fibers that are sort of spun together into longer threads. We always work in groups of 5 threads. I don't know why 5. That is what the instructions told me to do. First thing I'm going to do is separate out the threads that I need. I sort of created my own color pattern for the center of the daffodils. The middle is 10 bundles of white, and then I do 10 bundles of yellow on each side for a total of 30. I think I actually wound up being like 2 bundles short or 1 bundle short before I ran out of yellow silk, but that's fine. My goal is 30. These threads are actually twice as long as I need them to be, so every time I count out 5 threads, that's actually 2 bundles. So once I've counted out the full amount of threads that I needed, it's really important to detangle them and make sure that they are even on the edge or as close to even as you can get. The really nice thing about the silk is even though it gets a tangle, most of the time it just pulls right out. It doesn't seem to like stick to itself and create really tight knots. So once it's untangled, I just folded it in half and cut it. So that doubled up the amount of threads that I needed. Easier and quicker to work with these larger bundles of silk. I then counted out bundles of 5 of the cut yellow silk and draped them onto the top of my board. And once I had them all counted out, then you move on to wrapping them around the stick that came with the kit. So after I have all of the bundles onto the stick, it's time to brush the silk out. You do this to break up the thread back into its like individual tiny silk fibers, so you're making them nice and fluffy. For this, especially since I have so many threads, I found it easier to break it up into 3 sections, and to keep them away from each other while I brushed, I just sort of scooted them away from each other on the stick. It does help to toss them up and over the board, the ones that you aren't brushing, which I do later, but with this first bundle, I didn't have a problem with getting the other threads accidentally in the bundle I'm brushing. So then you just take the brush that was included in my kit and start brushing the silk. I found a tip from Lansei China that if you first start with the brush horizontal and you put your thumb underneath and keep your thumb under, pressing the silk into the brush as you pull the brush down. Also, you want to keep your hand on the bottom of the silk threads and pull it tight as you're brushing down. When you go to the top to start again, you actually loosen the silk a little so that when you press the brush, the bristles can go all the way through the silk fibers, and then you put your thumb on it and pull it down again. This speeds up the process immensely because now you're brushing through everything. It also seems to help prevent tangles. It is a technique that takes some time to get used to. I'm very clumsy at this. My fingers don't quite seem to know what to do with this whole flower making technique, but I am trying to build up muscle memory so that I can do this seamlessly. But I find brushing the silk to be very therapeutic. It's actually one of my favorite parts of this process. So you just want to keep brushing and brushing and brushing, and then you also want to turn the brush around and brush in the back. And they also said that you can brush this like hair. You can start at the bottom and brush the ends first and work your way to the top. I found that I prefer to go top to bottom, but after a while I do like to brush the bottom section because I find when I do top to bottom I don't get the ends as well brushed. And then another tip that I found was after you've brushed it with the brush horizontal, you want to take the brush and turn it diagonal and then do the same thing. This tip helped immensely because I found I would get little balls of silk, like almost balled up, or a texture kind of in the silk itself, and doing that helped smooth that out and prevent it. So once I have that first section mostly brushed, it's not done, mostly brushed, the silk fibers are starting to come apart, but there's still a bit of a crimp to it, I move on to the white section and I just repeat this process all over again. I do a bunch of brushing on top, make sure to brush underneath, and just go until I see the texture start to match the first one. And when I'm done brushing the white, I do the exact same thing with the last yellow section. Another tip is to make sure that you clean your brush regularly. I have sort of a process set up in my head now where after I brush through this once, I then take my tweezers and clean out the silk fibers that get stuck on the brush and start again. Another tip is if you start to feel that static is building on the silk threads, you can spray them with a little water before brushing again. So now I'm just starting at the beginning and I'm going to finish out the brushing until the little crimp texture that appears goes away and all the silk fibers are fluffy and separated. Once one side is completely done, it is important to flip the stick around so that you can properly brush the back. You'll definitely notice a difference. No matter how much you push those bristles through, the back is never fully brushed, just out flipping it over. At this point, this is when I push all of the colors together and start to brush them so they become one giant block of silk. And again, I just keep brushing until they reach that right texture that I'm looking for, which is kind of hard to explain, but essentially light and fluffy is what you want. Once they're fully brushed, clip them at the end. Now normally, or at least in the instructions given, they actually use another one of those silver clips and clip it to the bottom of the board. For the length of silk that I'm using, that actually causes a lot of silk waste. I don't like that, so I'm trying to minimize my waste. So rather than clip it to the bottom of the board, I just let the little horizontal wooden clip hang and let gravity add tension. This is actually a tip that I saw from Lansei China that I saw that you don't have to clip it to the board. It makes it easier for beginners so that you maintain your tension, but this does actually work. Next thing we have to do is wrap some copper wires around the threads horizontally. They usually use some sort of powder, I think it's magnesium, to give your fingertips some grip when twisting the wires. However, if you use a little bit of tissue paper and wrap it on the ends of the copper, that works incredibly well. I don't have any powder. I tried makeup and it didn't work very well, but the tissue paper, which is funny, these are actually face blotting papers that I have, just cut little tiny pieces and wrap it around the end, and it really, really helps get a good grip so you can twist these wires. So then you just sandwich the silk thread with these wires and you twist both sides in opposite directions. That's very important for later. And then you just evenly space them all the way up until you've covered the entire length of the silk. Again, I don't want to go into the details of this part since Lansei China has amazing tutorials, so please check out their channel for instructions on how to do this part. Once that's done, it's time to cut. Now I will say, so this kit came with these scissors. These scissors it came with is the best to use for this. They're heavy, they're sharp. I have really nice fabric shears and these worked way better. So a couple of things. One is easier to cut these if they're slightly lifted off the table. So I'm using my quilting ruler to lift this a little off the table so that the edge that I'm cutting is a little off the edge of the ruler. It just allows the scissors to get under it a bit more evenly. Now it's important to cut the silk even, and I found is much easier to keep everything in place if you pinch the copper wire of the one that you're cutting away before cutting. It just keeps the wires and the silk from shifting around, and so everything stays nice and neat. This part I find the hardest part. So no matter what I do, the silk never seems to be perfectly even, and you're supposed to be able to press it against a wooden block to even the silk out. I'm still working on this. I think it has to do with how I am tightening the copper wire, so I think more practice is in order to get these to where they're supposed to be. That's what I'm doing here, is I'm trying to even out the edges. Still completely fine if they're not, you just have to trim them up more later. So it's not like a fully, I've ruined this sort of thing if they're not even. After that, I hand twist them together to start to make this little pipe cleaner looking thing, and then it's on to another one of my favorite parts of the process, and that's using these two wooden blocks together to really tighten up the twist in these wires. Tightening up the twist in the wires spins them out and fluffs them up a bit more and secures all of the silk thread nice and tight between the two pieces of wire. So I just roll until I feel like it looks fluffy enough. And then one tip they gave me was, once you've rolled it, if the silk still is kind of bunching together and it doesn't look super fluffy, you take the tweezers and you rub it up and down the silk to sort of break up the clumps of silk that might be sticking together. And you also blow on it back and forth, and that does help fluff everything up. So once they're appropriately fluffy, just fold the wires in half. And I find that this part really helps if you use the tweezers to pinch just under the silk fibers, and then you twist them together. I like to use the tweezers as well to brush up the silk fibers so that it doesn't get caught in the twist. Then it's time to flatten the silk down. So I like to use the tweezers to arrange the silk fibers as I'm using this tiny little flat iron, just so that everything looks nice and neat. And I'll do this multiple times. I'll flat iron it and then take the tweezers and smooth out some of the fibers and then iron it again until I like the way that everything is laying. And I'm trying really hard to get these as flat as possible. And then it's on to my absolute favorite part of this process. I don't know why I like this, but I just take some non-aerosolized hairspray and pour it into a cup and then dip the flower petal into the hairspray. And then you take the tweezers and sort of squeeze out the excess hairspray. They mention that it's very important to get all of the excess out. I have found it works better if you don't try to squeeze all of it out. When I first started trying this, I really pressed hard and tried to scrape all of the hairspray out. And then for some reason things would look a little messy. So I found that if you dip it into the hairspray, use the tweezers to squeeze out most of the excess, and then you sort of stick it to the side of the cup and let gravity pull out some of that hairspray, that for some reason just works better. And then I also like to work in groupings because I find it's easier to shape if the hairspray is starting to dry a little bit. So this also gives a moment for the hairspray to start to set before we style, since it's sitting on the edge of the cup drying a bit. So after I have dipped 5 petals, which is all that I had made into the hairspray and set them on the cup. I go back to the first one and using my tweezers, I start to shape it into the shape of the petal that I want for the daffodil. So this is kind of my own style of petal, I guess you could say, because I have this image in my head of what I want these daffodils to look like. So I'm just bending and pushing the fibers around until I like the shape. One thing I learned is you don't want to overwork the petals. Overworking it can lead to a messy outcome. The fibers start to pull apart, and you want to be careful not to stab the fibers with the tweezers, because then you'll start to pull them apart. You can fix it by dipping it back in the hairspray, but it's best to just try to get it right on the first try so you don't wind up with a super messy result. Also, to bend the petals and to keep out the tweezer marks, if you clamp and bend a little, go up a little bit, clamp, bend a little more, go up a little bit, clamp, bend a little more, so on and so forth, that actually helps bend the flower without breaking them apart and keeping the tweezer indents out. I hope that made sense. I apologize for the camera angle. I apparently didn't notice that I was completely not in the camera when I was working on these petals, but I hope you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. And then after the hairspray has dried, you take these curved scissors and trim up the edges so they're nice and neat. That's why I'm not concerned earlier if the edges look a little wonky, because at this time is when we get to cut them. I will say, if you cut off too much or too deeply, you may wind up fraying the edges again, but I found you could just re-dip them in hairspray to clean up those areas and let them dry. They hold their shape, and now you've got an extra layer of hold. So it still works out in the end. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I ran out of white silk, so I can't show you what a completed flower will look like, but I have some petals that I worked on that were experimental petals. So it was before I figured out some of these tips and tricks, so they're a bit rough and I probably won't be able to use them in the final version of the flowers, but I did organize them here and hold them for you so that you can get a bit of an idea of what a final flower will look like. These petals are also incredibly too small for the size of these center petals. I think it gives you a nice idea of what I'm going for. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope the information will be useful if you decide to try silk flower making. Hopefully I'll be able to share some nice beautiful daffodils here in the future. I just need my silk to get here. So in the meantime, I'm working on bedazzling Glinda, and I'm working on the gauntlet for Sakizo. I have a new idea I'm trying for that. Always like this video if you liked it. Make sure to subscribe for more content from me, and I will see you in my next video.